Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having a fantastic week so far. Students, in this class we're doing some IELTS reading. We will be reading on the topic of money and currencies. This is an academic IELTS reading passage. For those of you taking the general IELTS, the readings are a little bit different for sections 1 and sections 2, but the third section of the reading is very similar to the academic, so it's good to learn for both in this class. Welcome Fatime, hi Sandy, Jalaluddin, Rod, Danyurbek. Good to see all of you. Students, this lesson is presented to you by AEhelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes, and they contain all of our materials. Our academic IELTS website looks like this. It has this blue background. You can click this big red button right there to join the premium version. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner and an IELTS test registration center. I have been training students for IELTS for nearly 20 years. Hi Van Tran. Hi Romelia, our chat moderator. Nice to see more people joining in. That's fantastic. And our general IELTS, everybody, looks like this with the green background. And again, you can just click that big red button there to join the premium version. We help thousands of students every single week succeed on their IELTS tests. For those of you who are premium students, you get 2 extra classes per week. To check those out, take a look at this playlist. It's got the recordings of some of those live premium Zoom classes. Hi Deborah. Hi Carolina. Nice to see so many students. The apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help in your app store on Play or on Apple. Instagram is IELTS_AE Help and GIELTS Help. You can check us out there. If you have questions, just send me an email. My email is adrian@aehelp.com, or you can send an email to admin@aehelp.com. Students, right now it's reading. We'll get reading pretty quick here. We'll do some list of headings questions and some other types of questions. And then tomorrow we'll do speaking. And you will have a chance to speak as well in the class through Zoom. And then for premium students, it's task 1 writing on Thursday and speaking on Friday. All right, everybody. To check out a really nice video, Band 9 for computer-based exam, take a look at this one here. That's always good to review. I see Carolina, you're already hard at work, making sure that the chat is nice and focused. All right, everybody. Without further ado, let's jump into the reading. So here we go. Here is our reading passage for the day. This is titled Currency Substitution. Currency, of course, means money. And substitution means that the money is being changed or altered in some way. Substitute means to try to replace one with another. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. Substitution. If, for example, your teacher is not feeling well, then a substitute teacher is a replacement teacher. So substitution means to replace one with another. Substitution. To replace one with another, like a substitute teacher. Okay. If you don't have your usual teacher in class, you have a different teacher for the day, it's called a substitute teacher. All right, students, let's do this. So when you're looking at your reading, okay, especially when you get a picture provided like this one, okay, you need to visualize, you need to think first. Okay, don't just start reading in the real IELTS, but give it a moment and think about it. Go, okay, what is this? So you look at it carefully. It says $100 trillion. A one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 zeros after it. Okay. So you start to think about, well, what could that be, right? What do you think, Deborah? Happy Brar? Emo? What would that mean that you have this picture here and this title, currency substitution? What is it trying to show you? What are the IELTS examiners trying to suggest this passage is going to be about? What kind of content or what kind of information? Okay, thanks for the dialogue, Deborah. Thanks for answering Zubham's question. Emo, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Well, you're probably going to think at least that, okay, this is something really strange. $100 trillion, that seems like it's way too much, right? So its Nat says, well, it has to probably do with something about changing currency when the currency doesn't have value anymore, right? So what happens when money loses its worth? Okay, so we look at the questions here and we notice that we have a list of headings. And so we read through these. So when you see this kind of a question, what you need to do is you need to read them and read them carefully. These questions, list of headings, means you have to choose the correct heading for each paragraph. So here you have 11 choices, okay? And you have 1, 2, so A, B, C, 3, D, 4, E, 5, F, 6, G, 7. So we have 7 paragraphs and we have 11 choices. Okay, so 4 are wrong, 7 are correct, and we have to match them. So here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we have to match the correct heading to this. Now, you can't really do this with keywords because they're not going to match words for you in the same paragraphs usually. So that's not going to help. Okay. So you have to understand what these mean, or try to understand what they mean, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Now, after those questions, after those list of headings questions, we see that there's this true, false, not given. The true, false, not given questions we kind of ignore before reading. There's no point. Okay. And then, as a last question, we have this multiple choice. Which of the following phrases best describes the main aim of reading passage 3? Okay, so this multiple choice, the main aim or the main concept that the author is going for, also suggests that you need to read the whole passage. So in this passage, skimming and scanning really won't work effectively for these questions, so we need to read. Okay, so we realize it's about money. It's about changing money. It's about money changing value, right? and then we read. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to read this passage, starting with the list of headings first of all. Okay. List of headings, read with me. Limitations of dollarization. Okay. So the constraints of changing to dollar. Benefits and drawbacks of dollarization. So negatives and advantages of changing to the US dollar. All right. The end of the Bretton Woods system. Okay, so some kind of money system changes. The benefits and examples of dollarization. Okay, so the advantages and just some real world situations where countries use dollar. All right. And Sukhpreet, I'm seeing in the chat right now that you got some really nice IELTS scores. Congratulations, Sukhpreet. Yeah, that's great. Send me a testimonial when you have a little bit of time. Okay. Let's continue here. A currency loses its value spectacularly. Okay, so some type of money is not worth anything at all. That kind of looks like that Zimbabwe $100 trillion bill there. Transition to fiat currencies. Okay, changing to paper money, right? Everybody knows fiat currency is the paper money system, so not the gold standard, right? Now, if you don't understand all the words in the list of headings, that's okay. It's absolutely okay. Right? You don't have to understand all these words, just as much as possible. Dollarization, American and Australian dollars. Okay, so changing to the US and Aussie dollar. Sure. Should countries dollarize? It depends. So should countries use American dollar? We don't know. Okay, we'll see. Defining the topic. Okay, so that's where we understand the main idea. Lowering inflation and spurring investment. Okay, so decelerating the drop in value of money and increasing the amount of money coming in. Lacking confidence is a problem. So not having enough confidence or not having enough trust in a money is probably an issue. All right, so notice what I'm doing here when I'm reading these list of headings is I'm trying to think of what the meaning is using my own words. Okay, that should always be your first step, everybody. So with list of headings, all right, step one, read the question, or the questions, headings, define them in your own words. Okay, so that's what you want to do with list of headings. All right, that's your first step. Now, your next step with the list of headings is you start reading. Okay. Just going to see, we can maybe do this through Zoom. I'm going to read the let me just see here. Okay. I'm going to read this passage, everybody, and then I'll give you a chance to read it after, and we'll answer these list of headings, true, false, not given questions. Okay, so let's do this. Let's read the passage together first, and then you will have a chance to read some too and answer some questions. Okay, so we're going to do that. So read with me here. Okay. Currency substitution. Currency substitution, also known as dollarization, occurs when a country uses another country's currency in place of its own. In partial currency substitution, a country will use another currency alongside its own, while in full dollarization, the country uses only the other currency. Though the phenomenon is sometimes referred to as dollarization, in reference to the United States dollar, the target currency can be any country's currency. Countries around the world have also dollarized with euro, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, South African rand, and the Swiss franc. While there are many benefits to dollarization, there are also significant drawbacks as well. Okay, let's keep going. The story of currency substitution begins with the end of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which established the rules for financial relations between major nations during and following the Second World War. The agreement, which was based on the convertibility of the US dollar to gold, collapsed in 1971 when the United States unilaterally terminated the relationship between its currency and gold. During the intervening years, currencies were tied to the price of gold and therefore to each other. After 1971, currencies previously tied to the value of gold became fiat currencies. Currencies which ceased being valuable in relation to something external, gold, and relied on public confidence in order to retain value. This is the origin of the need for currency substitution in certain cases. When you think about it, the paper that money is printed on is worthless. It cannot be converted into gold, and it is not guaranteed to be converted into anything other than the banknote's denomination. This is the result of the end of the Bretton Woods system. While many countries have succeeded financially and monetarily since 1971, others have not. For example, because fiat currency relies on the confidence of the people being issued the currency, when people lose confidence in the currency, disaster is at hand. This was the case for Zimbabwe from 2007 to 2009 and beyond. The people of Zimbabwe lost confidence in their fiat currency, and its value bottomed out in spectacular fashion. People are generally accustomed to single-digit inflation, the loss in value of a currency, but Zimbabwe's inflation was off the charts. 80 billion pieces in a single month. At the peak of Zimbabwe's problem, $1 billion Zimbabwean dollars were reduced in value to a single dollar in just 1 month. Wow. Mal, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Yeah. All right, so with paragraph C, it kind of explains this picture, right? So it's this key example of money losing its value. Okay. All right. D. For Zimbabwe, the choice to dollarize was clear. They gave up their own currency, which its people had decided was worthless, in favor of the US dollar, which the people had confidence in. This configuration lasted for a decade until 2019, when the new president Emerson Mnangagwa decided it was worth trying a national currency again. This currency, as of March 2020, so a little bit over 4 years ago, is also failing, seeing inflation rates of 500%. While short of the catastrophic rates previously seen, it is enough to highlight the manifest difficulty in managing a currency without the confidence of the public. Okay, so it continues with the Zimbabwe's example of currency and the value in currency and how much or how important it is for people to trust their country's money. Clearly, one of the benefits of currency substitution is the confidence given to the country's people in their monetary system, which gives great economic and social benefits for countries with a citizenry that lacks confidence in the nation's currency. Dollarization is a very positive alternative. In addition to Zimbabwe, countries that fall into this category are El Salvador and Ecuador, US dollar. Dollarization is also a preferable alternative to a national currency in the case of small nations which lack the governmental infrastructure to administer a national currency. Countries in this situation include Palau and Timor-Leste, US dollar, Kiribati, Nauru, and Tuvalu, Australian dollar, Andorra and Kosovo, Euro, and Liechtenstein, Swiss franc. Okay. F, while currency substitution can create a consistency through lower inflation and spur investment through a more stable financial environment, it also has drawbacks. For example, countries who officially use foreign currency cannot control their monetary policy and therefore have less control over their economies. For example, when the United Kingdom wants to lower their base interest rate in order to achieve a particular economic outcome, they can do this. So can other countries with national currencies. Conversely, countries using foreign currencies are at the mercy of foreign economic forces. For instance, the United States does not take into account Zimbabwe or Ecuador's interests when managing the United States dollar. This can result in conflicting economic interests and damage the foreign country's user. The other main negative associated with not printing money is that the country cannot take advantage of what is called seigniorage, the profit of a country makes by printing its own currency. And this is why Zimbabwe, even after the debacle of the late 2000s, attempted one more time to print their own money 10 years later. Printing money literally makes money for the printer. Overall, whether a country should have its own currency depends on the social and economic position of the individual country. Now again, hopefully everybody's reading here. National currencies require the confidence of the people, and if this is lacking, no level of seigniorage will make up for the inflation that results. But for countries like the United States, a national currency is profitable and also part of its identity. And if you can't read a word like this one for me, I think it's a French word, seigniorage, don't worry about the pronunciation. Just ignore it. Just do your best. Something about printing money to make money. Ved, by the way, I'm looking at your scores there. 7.5, that's fantastic. Good for you. Thumbs up. Reading 8.5. You did awesome in the reading. Congrats on that, Ved. Yeah, you're super welcome for that. When you have a moment, send me a testimonial. So again, students, this reading material, and we'll look at these questions here in just a moment, is coming from our website. And like Ved and others who passed their test, like Sukhpreet, these are your testimonials on the website. Okay. So we've got so many of them, and it's so awesome. So I highly recommend, joining when you have a few moments and $30-40 to spend. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center, and we're so happy to help all these students. And I'm so happy when you come back and share. So Ved and Sukhpreet, thank you for sharing. Okay, I really appreciate that. It's inspirational for your peers and for me as well. Okay, students, let's actually, you know what? Let's do a little bit of reading, question practice, answering through Zoom. So I'm going to share the Zoom link here with you in just a second in the chat, and then I'll start up the Zoom, and we can do a little bit of reading through Zoom. Okay, you can practice and we'll answer these questions. I'll show you how. Okay. All right, let's do this. So and I might as well just start this up. Okay, I can't use my camera here, but you can. I'm using the camera in YouTube, so I can't use the camera on Zoom. All right, I'm going to put on my headset so I can hear you as well here. Okay, here's the link, everybody. You might have to download Zoom if you don't have it. Okay, there you go. There's the link. All right, use this link right here. Okay, I just copied it into the chat, and then we'll get going. Okay. So I'll wait for you to join, and then I should be able to see some students coming in now. Yeah, Romelia is in here as well. It's great. Okay. All right. Mora, nice. Okay. There's Romelia. Now, students, as you're joining in here into the Zoom, if you'd like to speak or read or volunteer, you can just raise your hand. So there's reactions, and then there's raise hand, and you see this like little hand go up beside my head, and then you can volunteer to read and answer some questions, and I will teach you a bit of strategy on how to answer these list of headings: true, false, not given. Okay, so I can see that Ava is now in here, and Noor is in here. Again, if you want to volunteer, okay, just put up your hand. That's the best way to do it. All right. I'm going to lower my hand. And then let's, I'll just get somebody to maybe volunteer here. Romelia, we haven't heard your voice in a while. Do you want to do a little bit of reading for us, a paragraph? Do you want to unmute yourself on Zoom? If you're there. Meanwhile,
hello.
hi, Romelia.
Can you hear me properly?
I can hear you loud and clear. I hope everybody else can too. So if people can't hear
Hopefully.
Romelia, let me know.
Hello.
Yeah. How have you been, Romelia?
Just a hectic schedule, I would say.
A hectic schedule. What makes it so hectic?
Oh, my work, a lot of things. My PhD. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a lot of things when it's hectic, right? Early
Yeah,
waking up, staying up late, lots of partying, friends, socializing,
Of
right,
course.
Romelia? I know what's
Yeah.
going on there.
I'm trying to fit in this kind of.
All right, well, it's good to hear your voice, Romelia. All right,
Yeah.
so let's do this, Romelia. So I'll ask you to read a little bit for us, okay? And then we'll answer some questions, okay?
Let's try.
Okay, let's do it. So let's get this passage back up here. And we'll just start with paragraph A. So when you see paragraph A come up in
Yeah, I can see
YouTube
it.
on your screen, then just start
Okay.
reading. Yeah.
Okay. Currency substitution, also known as dollarization, occurs when a country uses another country's currency in place of its own. In partial currency substitution, a country will use another currency alongside its own, while in full dollarization, the country uses only the other currency. Though the phenomenon is sometimes referred to as dollarization in reference to the United States dollar, the target currency can be country's currency. Countries around the world have also dollarized with the euro, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, South African rand, and the Swiss franc. While there are many benefits to dollarization, there are also significant drawbacks as well.
Okay.
Sorry about my reading.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I actually think you're reading a little bit too fast, to be honest with you.
Oh,
In the
really?
real, yeah. So in the real IELTS, you can read about half that speed. What's more important is that you just really clearly understand the content, right? So it's not so much. It's a balance between speed and comprehension. So your reading is just fine. Okay, now when we're doing these list of headings questions, what you want to do at this point, Romelia, is stop yourself for a second and just ask in a very simple way, what is this paragraph about?
Uh, Basically, this paragraph introduces us into the notion of dollarization.
Okay, sure. So the introduction is giving what? It's giving a... Can you say it a different way? So the introduction here is giving a what?
Yeah, I don't know if it is an actual name or is a so-called, yeah, dollarization.
Yeah, so
I'm in doubt. I'm in doubt.
yeah, so
Yeah.
can we say like the introduction is giving a background and definition
Mhm.
to the topic of dollarization or currency substitution, right? They're kind of the same. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Yeah, I agree with you. So here it's just basically saying that currency substitution, also called dollarization, is when a country replaces its own money with another country's money, right? And then gives a couple examples. So it introduces this concept. All right. So now we want to match that to one of the choices in the list of headings. Can you tell me which one matches that answer that you gave?
Yeah, let me get. Probably defining the topic.
What's your final choice here?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Shall
I
we
think,
have one? If
yeah,
no, it's nine. Definitely nine.
it's defining the topic. Yeah, it's number 9. I agree with you. So A would be number 9 for sure. Yeah, yeah. That's
It specifies something about the euro,
yeah, and you shouldn't, in the real IELTS, Ramilian,
some
listen
kind of
up,
other
everybody.
dollars, euros.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like contemplating. You should have confidence in your answers, just like having confidence in money. You need to have confidence in your IELTS answers. So when you say, like the introduction is explaining what dollarization is, explaining what dollarization is basically just another way to say defining the topic. So you have to stick with that answer, right? Okay. All right, Romelia, thank you so much for starting it off. And it's really good to hear your voice. It's good that you're busy. Busy's good. It's good to keep busy. So
I'll
I'm
be back
happy.
for the speaking session because I really want to have an attempt at my IELTS.
For sure. And do
Okay.
you have any trips planned in the near future? I know you like
Yeah,
traveling.
maybe in spring, the
Okay.
latest.
That's great. That's great. All right, we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Romelia.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Bye for now. All right, that was Romelia, everybody. Give Romelia a thumbs up. You can do that in Zoom or you can do that in the chat as well. I'm going to give a thumbs up in the chat this time. So that's my actual thumb there in the chat, Romelia. Okay, and I see that more people have joined, which is fantastic. I think we have about 13 or 14 people. Everybody remember that for those of you who are premium students on our websites, you get 2 extra Zoom classes every Thursday and Friday. All right, Fatime, I see that you have your hand up, so just unmute yourself, Fatime.
Hi, sir.
How are you, Fatime?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How about you, sir?
I am also doing fantastic, thank you. Just right off the top, Fatime, you have lovely pronunciation. Have you lived in an English-speaking country?
No, I've never been to one.
Okay, well, you've definitely, considering you haven't lived in that's amazing. Good for you.
Through TV shows, maybe.
A lot of TV, I guess. And who said TV's bad for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. It's very inspiring to hear you speak like that. Okay.
Just for learning purposes.
Good for you. All right, Fatime, can you read paragraph B for everybody once you see it on the screen?
Yes.
Sir?
Let me freeze the screen. Okay. Paragraph B. The story of currency substitution begins with the end of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which established the rules for financial relations between major nations during and following the Second World War. The agreement, which was based on the convertibility of the US dollar to gold, collapsed in 1971 when the United States unilaterally terminated the relationship between its currency and gold. During the intervening years, currencies were tied to the price of gold and therefore to each other. After 1971, currencies previously tied to the value of gold became fiat currencies which ceased being valuable in relation to something external, gold, and relied on public confidence in order to retain value. This is the origin of the need for currency substitution in certain cases.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, Fatime, that's great reading. And your reading speed is absolutely fine. So in the real IELTS, you should be reading the whole passage just like you did. And if you're not sure of some words or their pronunciation, don't worry about it. As long as you understand about 60-70%, you will be totally fine. Like this word here is unilaterally. Can you repeat it after me?
It means they did it themselves unilaterally?
Just repeat after me. Unilaterally.
Unilaterally.
Yeah. Another expression for this is across the board. Unilaterally means that in totality, so in completion, and everybody agrees. So if you have 4 friends, and you want to know, like, where should we go to eat tonight? And all 5 of you say Pizza Hut, so everybody's like Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut. Then you unilaterally decided to go to Pizza Hut. So it means completely, in totality. Okay. This other word underneath it is intervening. Intervening means, like, basically from A to B in that space or in that range. So intervening use, okay? But again, if you're not familiar with those words or their pronunciation, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter that much. What's more important is that you understand the main idea of each paragraph. So what's the main idea of this paragraph? What is this paragraph about?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't actively reading. I forgot, but I think it's about kind of how currency is going to change into maybe dollar or gold.
Okay, so currency is somehow connected to the value of gold, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and is it still connected to gold today? Like, think about the real world. So is currency connected to the value of gold today?
Yes.
We could argue about that one, Fatima. Yeah, the correct answer is actually so connected.
I know that gold might back up the money, like without any assets. This impossible for currency to exist.
This is true, but it doesn't have to be gold. It can be other assets as well. So the answer is so. One way you can kind of figure it out is if you look at so usually for body paragraphs, the topic sentence, usually, not always, so you have to be careful, but usually for body paragraphs, and I say body paragraphs, Fatima, because the introduction and the conclusion are different. Okay, so for the introduction and the conclusion, this is not true. But for body paragraphs, usually the first sentence is the topic sentence. Okay, so if you want to know what the paragraph is about, kind of reread the topic sentence. Can you reread the topic sentence?
Yes. The story of currency substitution begins with the end of the Bretton Woods Agreement,
Keep going.
which established the rules for financial relations between major nations during and following the Second World War.
Okay. So what is this paragraph about then?
It's talking about an agreement that was established during the World War and even after that because of the nations to kind of set some rules for their financials.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the end of this system, right? So the end of this Bretton Woods system and the beginning of currency substitution, right? And this system has something to do with how gold is balanced against money. Okay. All right. So as long as we have that idea, Fatima, then we can probably figure out which is going to be the correct matching heading. So take a look at the list of headings and think about that. So it's the end of this system, it's the end of the connection to gold, and the beginning of dollarization.
Maybe the third one, the end of the Bretton Woods system.
Okay, let's see what others say in the chat as well. So let's read them out. Can you read all 11 of these choices for us?
Yes. Limitations of dollarization, benefits and drawbacks of dollarization, the end of the Bretton Woods system, benefits and examples of dollarization, a currency loses its value spectacularly, a transition to fiat currencies, dollarization, American and Australian dollars, should countries dollarize? It depends. Defining the topic, lowering inflation, and I can see it's blurry. Spurring investment, lacking confidence is a problem.
Okay, so there's another choice there that could potentially be it. Which one is it? Deborah has maybe the right idea in the chat.
Yeah, transition to fiat currencies.
Okay, what does that mean?
Like changing the rules, like from gold, as you said, to other type of currency.
Okay, what kind of currency system do we have today?
Maybe.
Fatemeh, the currency system of today, what is that called? It's called the fiat currency, right? So today we live in the fiat system. Have you learned this in school, like the fiat currency system? It's called the fiat currency. So it's our confidence, right? Like how much we believe in it. What country are you in right now, Fatemeh?
Iran.
You're in Iran, okay. So what currency do you use in Iran?
Our own currency, which is reals.
Okay, so it's Iranian rials, right? And do you believe in it? Like, do you think it's a good money or a good currency in the world compared to other currencies, whether it's Japanese yen or, yep.
Yeah, I think it's the first or the second least valuable currency in the world. So.
So what would you rather have, a real or a British pound?
It doesn't matter, I guess, until it's still not valuable. So.
Right, exactly. So what you're talking about is it doesn't matter as long as there's confidence in the value of that money, right? That's what the fiat system is. So the fiat system is based on the value given by the confidence of the population in the money, right? And that's the system that we live today. So that's what this paragraph is talking about. The story of currency substitution begins with the end of the Bretton Woods Agreement. If you think about that phrasing, so begins with the end, right? Begins with the end is kind of like another way to say transition, right? Do you see that that pairing
Yeah.
transition. So that's actually the better answer. It's not just talking about the end of the Bretton Woods system, that's part of it, but it's talking about the beginning of a different system, right? So with these list of headings, you always have to look at the whole
Right.
information, the complete information. Okay?
You're right.
Does that make
That's one
sense?
mistake always. Yeah.
It's a very common mistake, and it's where a lot of students lose a few points in their IELTS reading, is they only get a part of the paragraph, and then they're picking the list of heading that explains just a part of the paragraph. List of headings has to be for the whole paragraph, right? Okay.
Yes.
So what the whole paragraph is about. So it's about the topic. But Fatime, I think you're doing fantastic. And
you.
and I think you've reached a really high level of English, considering you haven't lived in an English-speaking country. So good for you. Thank you for volunteering. I'm kind of losing you, Fatime, but that was really good. I think I've kind of lost Fatime, but that's okay. Thank you, Fatime. Come back and volunteer again, okay? All right. Give a big thumbs up to Fatime. I'm glad that her audio or her connection was at least good until she got the answer. So that was really good. Yeah, Carolina, I agree. She did a fantastic job. Okay, let's get somebody else. Arjun, I can see that you're volunteering. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Arjun.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. I'm from India.
What part of India are you from, Arjun?
Sir, from Tamil Nadu, sir. It's a southern part of India, sir.
Southern part of India, so is it quite warm there still? Is it quite hot?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm your sir. I'm your subscriber, sir.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. That's awesome. All right.
I saw your YouTube channel. After then, I joined in my. After that, I joined in Zoom meeting, sir.
That's awesome. Can you do a little bit of reading when you see paragraph C on YouTube? Can you read
Yes,
that for
sir.
us from When You Think About It?
When you think about it, the paper that money is printed on is worthless. It cannot be converted into gold, and it is not graduated to be converted into anything other than the bank's note denomination. This is the result of the end of the Bretton Woods system. While many countries have succeeded financially and monetarily since 1971, others have not. For example, because fiat currency relies on confidence of the people being issued the currency. When people lose confidence in the currency, disaster it and an is at hand. This was the case for Zimbabwe from 2007 to 2009 and beyond. The people of Zimbabwe lost confidence in their fiat currency, and its value bottomed out in spectacular fashion. People are generally assessed to a single-digit inflation. The loss in value of a currency by Zimbabwe inflation was off the charts. 80 million PC in single month. At the peak of Zimbabwe problem, a billion Zimbabwean dollars were reduced in a value to a single dollar in just 1 month.
Okay. All right. And that's not bad. So your reading's pretty good. That speed is good. What is this paragraph about? What is it telling you?
Sir, it's about Zimbabwe, sir. Zimbabwe
Is it just
about
about Zimbabwe?
inflation.
Yeah, it's partly about Zimbabwe. Is it just about Zimbabwe?
Sir, it is like money inflation, sir.
It's about inflation. And what is inflation basically? So what does this paragraph tell you that inflation is? It's about inflation, the example of crazy hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. So it's about inflation and hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. Yeah, and what is inflation?
Sir, inflation means if you sir, raising a product into a more price, sir.
Or the other way you can think about it is the value of money is lost, right?
Yeah, sir. The value of money is very huge.
Yeah. Why do we lose the value of money? So why does
Sir,
money lose its
because
value?
of the demand, sir. Because of the demand, sir.
Partly, yes. Anybody in the chat answering this? Maybe somebody helping? I don't know. So the value of money is lost because people lose confidence in the money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, tomorrow I am going to attend. Sir, tomorrow I'm gonna attend IELTS speaking. Sir, can you give any tips for that?
For the speaking, no, we're focusing on the reading right now, but tomorrow I'll definitely give you some tips when you're in the class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, just one more question then for you here is which one of these lists of headings do you think matches that paragraph's definition? So hyperinflation, Zimbabwe, people losing confidence. Which one of these do you think is the closest match?
6, sir. 6.
Transition to fiat currencies?
Yes, sir.
No, that was the answer for the previous one. So that was the answer for the one that Fatime just answered. No, it's not. So transition to fiat currencies is not the correct answer. That's not what this one is about. And this is why everybody in IELTS and list of headings, you have to be very careful not to try to just match vocabulary, because even though you have fiat currencies here and you have the word fiat currencies here,
Sir, yeah, sir, I'm sure
this is
about
not correct.
3, sir. I'm sure about 3, sir.
Nope, it's not the end of the Bretton Woods system in this case either. So that's just a piece of it, right? So the end of the Bretton Woods system, that would actually be even better for B. So it's not the Bretton Woods system, that's just a part of it. You can't just get the answer by trying to match the vocabulary here. You have to match the main idea. So what's the main idea? Is it limitations of dollarization? Not really. We didn't read about that. Benefits and drawbacks? No. The end of the Bretton Woods system is not really. Benefits and examples of dollarization? No. A currency loses its value spectacularly? That could be.
Yes, sir.
Right? That could be, because that could be the Zimbabwe dollar. Transition to fiat currencies, dollarization, American and Australian dollars. Should currencies dollarize? It depends. No. Defining the topic. Lowering inflation, spurring investment. No. Lacking confidence is a problem. That one also looks good. Which one's better? Number 5 or number 11?
5, sir.
I would say number 11. Lacking confidence is a problem. Inflation, confidence, Zimbabwe, also confidence. People aren't confident in their money anymore. So the best answer here is actually 11. Okay, if you look at it carefully. So these list of headings questions are not easy. Okay, they're challenging, but you have to look at the main idea. You can't just look at single vocabulary like this. And you can't just look at one example like Zimbabwe. You have to look at the whole paragraph. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So always look at the whole paragraph. Well, thank you so much for volunteering. And then tomorrow, when we're back for speaking, then you can practice your speaking. Okay? And you can ask me some questions and I'll give you tips on that. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for volunteering, Arjun. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, that was Arjun, everybody, and he did a fantastic job. Students, I've kind of run out of time, but I think you get the idea, and I challenge you to answer paragraph D and E as well. You can see it here on YouTube. F and G also. So there are those paragraphs. Here are the list of headings again to choose from. Good job, Arjun. Absolutely agree, Carolina. That was really good. And students, come back tomorrow for IELTS speaking. So we're going to use Zoom again, just like Arjun was inquiring, and we will do a speaking session. I'll do questions and answers, and we'll go from there. Okay. This was a class on currencies. And it's brought to you by aehelp.com, which is our academic IELTS website, and gieltshelp.com, which is our general IELTS website. If you would like to join 2 more premium classes this week on Thursday and Friday, they're a little bit longer with less students, then make sure to join the premium IELTS package at aehelp.com by clicking the big red button there. And gieltshelp.com, which looks like this with the green background. And again, you can click that big red button there. It was lovely to have you all here with me today for this reading session. I hope to see you tomorrow for the speaking. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating the chat. That was really awesome. Deborah, lovely to see you as well. Romelia, thank you for volunteering and for moderating. Mal, nice to have you in here. Everybody, keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Sir, can I grab your number?